Everyone that grew up in the 90s or 2000s remembers Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and Disney Channel. From iconic shows like SpongeBob SquarePants, The Powerpuff Girls, and Kim Possible, the channels collectively produced some of the most memorable children's shows of the time. Among the titans of childhood entertainment, one little programming block is often overlooked. Kids WB aired some of the most interesting and unique shows in children's programming until it was unfortunately taken off the air in 2008. This is the rise and fall of Kids WB. Kids WB was an American programming block that originally began airing on the WB television network starting on September 9, 1995. After having a series of successful films throughout the early 1990s, like Goodfellas, The Bodyguard, and Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, Warner Brothers set its sights on creating a children's programming block to compete with the success of Fox Kids. Fox Kids was extremely popular at the time with shows like Spider-Man the Animated Series, X-Men the Animated Series, and The Magic School Bus. Kids WB began airing on Saturday mornings from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and Monday through Fridays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Kids WB aired on most of WB's affiliated stations and initially consisted of shows like Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, and Freakazoid. Additionally, an anthology segment called That's Warner Bros. Also aired each week and featured various shorts from Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies. The following year, in 1996, Kids WB added several new shows to their programming, including Superman the Animated Series, Road Rovers, and Waynehead. 1996 was a significant year for Warner Brothers Studios with the release of two blockbuster films, Twister and Space Jam. The release of Space Jam was particularly significant for Kids WB as it revitalized interest in the Looney Tunes. In addition to the new shows, That's Warner Bros. Was renamed to Bugs and Daffy. On November 23, 1996, a companion series to Bugs and Daffy called The Daffy Duck Show replaced Freakazoid. 1996 also represented a change in Kids WB program scheduling dubbed Big Kids Go First, which aimed to feature more action and hero-oriented shows at an earlier Saturday morning time slot. The goal was to attract an older demographic of children to the programming block. Unfortunately, the schedule change was unsuccessful and was abruptly dropped by Kids WB towards the end of 1996. The year 1997 marked the addition of the new Batman Adventures, which was packaged with Superman the Animated Series and what was commonly referred to as the new Batman/Superman Adventures. On October 4th, 1997, the episode World's Finest was released as a crossover episode between the two series and explored Batman and Superman's first time meeting. Some of the additional shows added to Kids WB during 1997 included Tiny Toons Adventures, Captain Planet, and Men in Black the series. These additions led to a weekday morning block that extended from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. A weekday afternoon block was also added, extending the block from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Kids WB would also change their logo in 1997 to the logo most of you probably associate with Kids WB today. The programming block didn't change much throughout 1998, with only a few new shows being added to the lineup. The shows included Hysteria, Pinky, Elmira and the Brain, and Bratz of the Lost Nebula. The year 1999, however, was by far the most significant year for Kids WB and marked several notable changes that propelled them to the top of children's programming at the time. Kids WB began their transition by discontinuing the shows Bugs and Daffy, Pinky, Elmira and the Brain, and the new Batman Adventures. 3 original series were added to the lineup, including one of my favorite shows from the time period, Batman Beyond. Seriously, if you've never watched it, do yourself a favor and check it out. The other 2 series that were added were Detention and The Big Cartoony Show, which featured various shorts from shows like The Looney Tunes, Animaniacs, and Pinky and the Brain. Most importantly, on February 13th, 1999, the popular anime series Pokemon was moved to Kids WB from 4Kids Entertainment due to broadcast syndication. This was a significant point in the history of Kids WB as Pokemon became a massive hit for the programming block. Week after week, Pokemon was consistently ranking as the #1 show in its time period. Eventually, by June 4th, 1999, Kids WB officially surpassed Fox Kids to become the #1 network for the morning among boys aged 2 through 11 and aged 6 through 11. Pokemon had become a worldwide cultural phenomenon that was popular with boys and girls of all ages. This allowed Kids WB to significantly diversify the demographics of their viewers. At the turn of the century, in the year 2000, Kids WB made several changes to their programming lineup. Most notably, they dropped several shows that had been in rotation for years: Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, and Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries were all canceled. The superhero show Static Shock was added to the programming block in 2000 and was immediately met with positive ratings from viewers and renewed for a second season. In September of 2001, Kids WB discontinued their weekday morning block and gave it back to local affiliates. In July of 2001, Kids WB made another significant change after their weekday afternoon lineup was rebranded as Toonami on Kids WB. Toonami was a popular programming block on Cartoon Network that featured Japanese anime and various American animated shows. Some of the most popular Toonami shows included Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, Thundercats, and the Powerpuff Girls. The cross-promotion between the two blocks allowed them to share series between the networks. Unfortunately, this collaboration was short-lived, as the content didn't pair very well with each other, and Kids WB would announce they would be dropping the Toonami weekday block in spring of 2002. Kids WB didn't institute too many other changes throughout the rest of 2002. The shows Muka Luka, What's New Scooby-Doo, and Oxy and Drix were added to the programming lineup. Oxy and Drix was an underloved spin-off of the 2001 animated film Osmosis Jones. Kids WB also picked up a few shows from Cartoon Network, including Samurai Jack and the Powerpuff Girls. Between 2003 and 2004, Kids WB made several changes to their programming lineup. While Yu-Gi-Oh!, X-Men Evolution, and Pokemon were the most popular shows on the network at the time, the shows Mega Man NT Warrior, Xiaolin Showdown, and Teen Titans were added to the lineup in 2003. While Mega Man NT eventually faded into relative obscurity, Teen Titans and Xiaolin Showdown would go on to become mainstays on the programming block. The year 2004 saw the addition of the Batman, the Boom Crew, and Astro Boy. The year 2005 marked a turning point for Kids WB as the block began to lose some of its dominance due to the rise of competitors on cable. The programming lineup was shuffled around, with Mega Man NT Warrior, the Boom Crew, Mucha Lucha, and mainstay Jackie Chan Adventures all being dropped in 2005. The shows Transformers Cybertron, Viewful Joe, Coconut Fred's Fruit Salad Island, Johnny Tests, and Lunatics Unleash were all added to Kids WB in 2005. On May 31st, 2005, the WB made the decision to discontinue the weekday afternoon block of Kids WB at the request of local affiliates after experiencing significant ratings decline. This resulted in Kids WB becoming just a single Saturday morning block. The following year, on January 24th, 2006, Warner Bros. Television and the United Paramount Network announced that they would be merging both networks into the CW. Fortunately, the new network decided to keep the Kids WB programming block, and as a result, the block would undergo several changes to its programming lineup. In 2006, Transformers Cybertron, Coconut Fred's Fruit Salad Island, Viewful Joe, and Teen Titans would all end their run on the block. Several new shows were added to the block, including Crypto the Superdog, Legion of Superheroes, Shaggy and Scooby Get a Clue, Tom and Jerry Tales, Monster Allergy, and Spider Riders. 2007 marked the beginning of the end for Kids WB. On October 27, 2007, the CW made the announcement that it would be selling the programming block to 4Kids Entertainment. Sadly, Kids WB would air for the final time on May 17, 2008. A week later, on May 24, 2008, 4Kids announced the launch of CW for Kids. The new programming block would consist of 4Kids produced shows like The Spectacular Spider-Man and Chaotic. If you're interested in learning more about Chaotic, check out my previous video. CW 4Kids also aired new seasons of shows that previously aired on Kids WB, like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. On August 21, 2010, the programming block was renamed to Toonzai and would later be replaced by a new programming block called Vortex, which featured shows like the Power Rangers. Vortex aired until September 27, 2014, when it was replaced by a block called One Magnificent Morning, which currently still airs on the CW. When reflecting on the rise and fall of Kids WB, there are several main factors that likely contributed to the eventual shutdown of the programming block. The most significant factor was likely the increased competition from children's cable networks. Original networks like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and Disney Channel had simply become too large by the mid-2000s for Kids WB to compete with. Another significant factor revolves around the changes in children's advertising regulations. Basically, the government stepped in to crack down on food advertising that targeted children. This decision led to brands like Kellogg's moving away from advertising on the block, causing a significant drop in advertising income. The final factor that likely contributed to the shutdown was the merger of Warner Bros. Television and the United Paramount Network. The rebrand saw both of the former brands consolidate their properties to make room for new content. While the CW initially kept the programming block after the merger, it would only last for one more full year before being sold off. Kids WB was a beloved programming block for many kids who grew up during the 1990s and 2000s. The block produced some of the most memorable children's animated programming, coupled with already popular shows syndicated from various other networks. It was easy to see why the block became so popular. While Kids WB has long been shut down, its original programming will live on in the memories of those who tuned in every chance they could. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like it and consider subscribing to my channel for more videos coming out soon. Please leave any suggestions for future videos in the comment section down below. See you next time.